It's been a few months since I've tried one of these, but I have the urge to see if I can read a book in one day. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Margaret, and my battery is dying. Well, that's an inauspicious start for a vlog. I don't know what that says about how my attempts are going to go for this. Is that a bad sign? Like, should I stop? Nah. I am here because I am going to be trying today. I am doing a thing right now, so I'm trying to read as many books as possible. I do not have a lot of time right now, but I did want to come on and start this vlog because if I don't start the vlog now, it's not getting started. That's how I work. I am sitting here with God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I have no idea what this is about, except that, like, there's a girl and she's supposed to kill gods, and there's a boy and he's got a god, like, stitched into his very being or something like that. I have this, and we're gonna see if I can read this in a day or less. It's a short-ish book. It's like, what, it's less than 300 pages, so I should be able to read this. The audiobook is 12 hours. I should be able to read this in one day, right? Right? Especially since I don't read on, like, I read a little bit faster than 1x speed. Oh boy, I gotta get back, but I will also mention, we got a mystery package. I'm not sure what this is, so we're gonna open this later. But I've gotta go because I've gotta go get on a live stream because there are sprints about to happen, and I'm not the one in charge of when things start. I'll see you guys in a few minutes when I've read a little bit more of the book and I have time to see what's in this lovely package. Hello everyone, welcome. I have done a little bit of reading and know a little bit more about the book. I was a little bit wrong on that, but let's start with this guy because I want to see what I may know what this is because I just remember something that I ordered the other day, but like, that was like a couple of days ago. I'd be surprised if it came in this quickly. So, ooh, yeah, I think this is it. Okay. Don't need that. I don't know if you guys know Natalie from Weirdo Book Club, but she has a little Etsy store and she was having a sale. So I got some little things. I got this. It says books are magic. That's so cute. Their little glasses. I also got this. It says, should I get a new book? The short answer is yes, but I love a flowchart. And it's just a little flowchart about whether or not you should get a new book. Maybe I'll wash some of these so I can drink out of them later. These would be perfect, like, for my tea. Where did God Killer go? There it is. Okay. We've made it to chapter 2 of God Killer. It's not a dude. So we've got our main character, Kissin, who her family was killed in a feud between gods. The villagers came, and because her family worshipped a different god, they killed her family. She managed to get away because her father sacrificed himself to the god that they worshipped, and so she's okay. And she spent her life training to be a Vega and kill the different gods. Something that's recently happened in their country, in the land, is that gods are now illegal, basically. And then we also have Inara, who is dealing with the fact that she has this little god that is attached to her. I don't think they can detach without, like, they're trying to figure out what's going on there. She's just approached Kissin asking for help. I don't know that anything has been tried, but I do believe, like, part of the problem is, like, separating them could end in one or both of them dying. I'm going to continue reading on with this. I like the writing so far. It's very, I guess you could say Slavic. It's very Eastern European in the way that it is approaching gods and how they are very Greek, actually. It's also like very Greek or Roman, where like you have like the big gods and then you have like little household gods or local gods. And so they're a little bit more, what's the word? It's a little bit more precarious for them, and it's easier to get rid of them versus like the bigger gods that have shrines everywhere. I like how we're exploring this and looking at it and looking at how these, like, I think we're going to get into how these gods are born as well, how they're born out of need and out of people looking for answers to things, which, if you know anything about religion, that's kind of how religion gets started. So I'm going to continue on reading this, and I will talk to you when I have hit a little bit further. It is currently, let's see, it's currently 12:30. I think we can do this. I think we're still good. I think this is still doable. Anyways, I'm gonna go wash one of those and make myself some tea. Oh, I almost screwed myself up there. It's fine, guys. Hi, hello. Careful where you put your thumbs when you are trying to tap things in your audiobook app, because you might take yourself back to 15% when you're at 38. I have an update. I'm on page 111, so we're all That's not 111, babe. So we're almost halfway through this, baby. And I'm enjoying it. Like, it's a very slow build. So I wasn't really into it, I would say, for the first 7, 8, 9 chapters. But then we got to about well, let me see, because I can look at it. I know exactly which page I started to start feeling like a little bit more connected with the story. So chapter 11. What we're dealing with in this book is we've got Kissen, who is a god killer, and she has somehow acquired a small child through no purpose of her own. We also have Elogast, who is a knight who worked for the king at one point, and he is disenchanted with how things have gone. Like, he specifically stopped being a knight because the king took this turn towards killing all of these gods. This is all basic stuff that we know. And so we have those two different plot lines, and we get to the point in like chapter 11 or so, or somewhere around there, that the plot lines come together and we start getting the interaction between all the main characters, and that is what I live for, my friends. That's what I am here for. That's what I picked the book up for. The world building for this book is so interesting in the way that she is using the source material and what's going on and these small gods and like linking it like that is like the stuff in mythology that I love. Like, part of why I like Greek mythology so much is because they are such interesting and intricate and complicated stories, and they're so messy, and that's kind of what we have here. These gods are as messy as people are, and I love that. I love that messiness. I love the fact that they are like these anthropomorphized ideas that take hold because people start to worship them, and it's hard to get rid of them because if someone worships you, can't get rid of you. And I'm enjoying all of those aspects when it comes to that. I'm also starting to enjoy like the plot lines. Elo I love, like, automatically. Kissen is a little bit of a prickly character, but if you know her backstory, it makes sense. And Nari is just, she's a kid. She is a kid. And she's a kid. And she's handling, like, she's a very mature for her age kid. I think there is some stuff going on with her. Like, there's a minor comment that happens when she goes into town to seek out Kissen. And I'm like, okay, well, what's going on with that? Because this is what this child believes, and this is what the townsfolk are saying. So what the fuck is up with that? You know, I'm very interested in where that. I have suspicions about what that means and why her mother made the choices that she made when it comes to her. I have so many theories right now when it comes to that. If you can get me theorizing, you've got me hooked. I am enjoying like this kind of like standoffishness that we're getting between Kissen and Elogast. Like they don't quite know what to think of each other, but they both have very much been like, oh, I know what you are. And then we're also following, what the heck is his name? Skediseth. We're following Skediseth, and he is the small little god that is attached to Inara. And like, it's to the point, like, it's almost like they're connected by a chain is how it's described in the books. They cannot get too far from each other without there being consequences. My suspicion is Mama might have somehow, for some reason, connected them on purpose. My guess, considering some other stuff we've seen, my guess is maybe our little Inara was going to die, and so her mom harnessed the power of a god to keep her daughter from dying. I also think that Skediseth is probably, like, right now he's manifesting as a small god. I have a feeling... Sorry, I'm getting very excited. It's making the bed bounce. I have a feeling that he is not as small a god as it seems. For reasons, I don't want to get into spoiler territory. We're having a good time with this book. I started talking, completely forgot that I still have socks to fold. I wanted to check in with you guys before I got too much further because I have a feeling that we're going to get to a point where I'm going to be like, sorry, the book's done. So I figured you guys should get at least, stop that, thank you. You guys should get at least one more check-in from me before I accidentally finish the book. It's one of those that, like, I press play and, like, now we're at a point where I'm just like, okay, I don't want to stop this because it is intriguing. I am intrigued. I am here. I'm intrigued. I like Like, I think there's going to be a lot of, like, talking about loyalty. Well, already we've got a lot talking about loyalty, especially in Illo's point of view. I think we're also going to have a lot talking about, like, I think there's going to be a bit more nuance when it comes to how Kissen views the gods by the end of this versus how she currently views it views them. Because right now she is very much anti-god. She thinks they all need to die. They are all bad. There is no good that any of them can do. And we've already kind of, like, seen the way that, like, people need something to believe. That is a fundamental human need, is to believe in something and to have something to explain why things that we do not understand are the way that they are. Especially when you're talking about an age before science, before we knew certain aspects, or before the common folk knew certain aspects of the world. So I just, like, the number of things that you will find in religions that are just there to explain why the sun freaking rises in the morning and sets in the night. Those kinds of things, like, those are there because there is a fundamental human need to figure out why things happen and have an answer for them. Human beings do so poorly when things are like, we just don't like not having answers for things. I understand that. I don't like variables either. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I'm a character-driven reader. I will forgive a lot of things in the plot, and I do find this plot genuinely intriguing. I do think it is a bit of a slow build. If you are on the fence about whether or not you want to finish it, you're interested, I would give it at least until page 100 or so when all of the characters meet and you get all of the full character dynamics before you continue. This is going to be a book that's going to hurt people, by the way. Like, we're at page 111. We've just met the group that they're traveling with. We've just met all of that, or gotten all of that, and we've already had someone die. And, like, we're not too terribly sad, but we're starting to build the other characters, like, they're, like, getting a little bit to know them, and, like, I'm like, oh, we're gonna get to know these characters, and some of them are going to die. You're gonna do that to us. I took a little bit of a reading break, because I was a bit ahead of Brianna, and probably not as much ahead of her now, so I should probably sit down and read, because I know she listens to her audiobooks at a much faster speed. I try to get them up to, like, just normal conversational level. I like them fast enough that they are normal conversation speed, but not so fast that I lose the performance of the voice actor, unless the voice actor is making me annoyed. I have had times where I've been like, oh, I can't stand this person, I'm gonna speed this book up. I won't name names, primarily because I can't remember them. So I'm gonna finish folding my socks, and I'm gonna go back to reading my book. I should probably get something to eat at some point today, too. Yeah. Pardon the shirt. We have coconut oil in our hair, and I don't want to get it on any shirts that I actually like. Hello. Hi. We have an update, and plans have changed. No one is surprised by this, right? Right? Please tell me this is normal. I did finish Godkiller within, I think it was like 12:03 or something like that. I finished it within the day. Long story short, I really enjoyed this. I had a great time with, like, the relationship dynamics between the characters and them trying to work through some stuff. I felt like the romance was maybe a little bit rushed, in my opinion. Like, it's not really, I mean, it's not really a romance yet. It was just, like, there's a whole thing that is now indelibly linked with Zoo Tycoon in my head because I was playing Zoo Tycoon while I was listening to the end of this book. I'm rambling. I'm sorry. Focus. I've already told you I really like the world building. I like this plot. It's very, I forgot to mention this in the last update, it's very Witcher-esque. Like, the kind of grumpy loner that's whole thing, lifestyle, career, whatever that word is that I'm searching for, that whole thing is fighting and being hired, like, be a mercenary. Being a mercenary is basically, that's what her job is. She's meant to, like, that's her job. She's supposed to kill gods. I like the kind of balance that she has there, where she's like, well, I don't go after everyone, because if I went after every single god, even though I hate them all, I would literally be at war with the world. So, like, I'm not, like, I like that we did get to see not some nuance, but some restraint from her and some thought through, and, like, her understanding of how religion and those kinds of things comfort people and how people function within that. Her kind of thing is when people need her, like, she gets hyped. Like, she's not going to do it if she's not getting paid, which, understandable. But if you like that mercenary type character, having to take care of a small child that they don't know, well, I don't think she's probably, like, I don't know. I don't think did we get an age for Inara? I have a couple of friends who've read this book. Did we get an age for Inara? Answer that one in the comments and they can tell. But she's like in her early to mid-teens, I think. Kissen is suddenly having to take care of her, and I love, that's just such a good dynamic. It's such a fun dynamic. And then she gets this really idealistic dude that's like not happy with the king, but also loves the king because they are good friends, and like he's trying to do, and you guys know exactly what I'm about if you've read the book. Really recommend it. We finished it within 24 hours. And I figured since we did this with an audiobook, the only obvious option would be to also do this again with a physical book. And I'm primarily doing that because I need motivation to finish this book so I can get it back to the library. So I'm going to be trying to read The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert in as little time as possible because it needs to go back to the library tomorrow. It was supposed to go back to the library 5 days. I think it was due on the 27th, so like 5 days ago. I am 73 pages into it currently, and according to Bookly, it's doable for me to finish this in a day. It says, okay, Bookly thinks that I should be able to finish this in 3 hours and 13 seconds. No, sorry, 3 hours, 1 minute, and 13 seconds. We're following Cherry and we're following Ruben in this one. This is the second book in a series by Talia Hibbert. She has it listed in the Midnight Heat series. So this is the follow-up to the fake boyfriend fiasco, which I read in February. We're following Cherry. She has recently turned 30. She doesn't do relationships, it sounds like. She's not very impressed with men, but she does like to, have sex with them. And so she'll do like one-night stands, but she doesn't do relationships. And then we have Ruben, who also is kind of like recently had, it sounds like, some sort of sex scandal. And he is a prince and part of the royal family, and his standing with the king, his brother, not great. Getting some vibes there. Not liking him, he can die. Anyways, long story short, they meet, there's this instant connection. They're like, we should just, she's like, we should hook up. We should do that. And then they get caught by the paparazzi, and because he's had all of these scandals and he doesn't want these pictures getting out of them making out in the middle of not in the middle, like there's a wall in an alleyway. Doesn't want these pictures getting out. He's like, hey, she's my fiance. And then he has to promptly explain to her that he's just told a pap that she is engaged to marry him, which makes her, you guys, if you've seen anything that happens with the British royalty, when you guys know where this is going. I'm enjoying this. I have to say I still like the Brown sisters a bit better because I don't know, I get it. I get what Talia is trying to do. I'm not a big fan of this, both in this book and the first book in this series, where you have the guy who's like, I have to have her. And I'm just and I say this as someone who really likes in established romantic relationships and books and stuff where one partner is or where both partners are yeah, they're mine. I like that, but I don't like that until if there hasn't been a relationship established, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. However, that is my only thing that I have to say about this book so far. So far, that's it. I think that's part of why the fake boyfriend fiasco didn't work for me as well, but also some of it was the ending and how that worked. If you've seen, have I posted anything about that yet? I don't know if I've posted anything about that yet. We'll figure that out later, but I'm going to be trying to read this, and it has been requested that my reactions and my feelings on this book be given to some people's, and so boom, there we go. Also, Talia Hibbert has given these royals the most ridiculous names ever, and it's just killing me a little bit inside. I know what she's doing there, but when you name someone Sophronia, I've never heard of that name in my life. It makes sense in a fantasy context, as I was talking with Jess about, and Brianna and everybody else in the group chat, and it makes sense in a fantasy but I just whoever gave these children thought that these names were good for children. Treason. They should be tried for treason. And I'm not talking about Talia Hibbert because I fully believe that these characters were named by someone and that Talia should bear no blame because royal people do have really ridiculous naming. I've never seen anything as bad as Sophronia, I don't think. We're taking a break from the book, but we're going to finish it today. I have managed to read quite a bit of it, and so I need to go put a video up. I need to wash the coconut oil out of my hair, and all of that good stuff. Gotta go do those things, and then I'll be back to reading this thing, and I will update you when things happen. I might just come back and give you a rating. I don't know. I don't know how this vlog is gonna go, but we're trying this again. Having been successful, I feel like I need the motivation. Like, if I do this, I'm gonna do it, and then if I don't do it, I won't do it. You follow the logic there? Well, hello everyone. We've made it to page 103 at this point in The Princess Trap, and I think we're gonna manage it. I think we're gonna do this. I have, it's 9:37? Yeah, I can get this much book read by midnight. Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. We got this. We have gotten into more of like the hijinks of the story, I guess you would say. They've sat down, he's explained the situation, explained that he's a prince, explained why suddenly all of these paparazzi are chasing her and all of that stuff, etc., etc., etc. They've entered into this contract where she's going to be his girlfriend for a year, and then he's going to leave him. Or she's going to leave. He's going to leave him, she's going to leave him. I assume that there is something there so that it doesn't screw things up for him with his brother, who is like you can always already tell, is like a big old POS, and I look forward to Cherry putting him in his place. Like, we don't know, we've gotten glimpses of what his brother and sister or how they were to him, which, granted, I understand why there is some resentment there because of the situation, but also, he was 5. We're getting kind of into that bit, and I'm excited for her to meet them and put them in their place because they need to be. I'm already just angry with just the little tidbit that we've gotten. Like, we've gotten into the hijinks, and this is the part that I really like because we've got two people. Well, we've got one person who's really not having it with the other person, and then one person who's trying to win her trust. And like, I like those kinds of plots. I like it when we're doing this whole like, hey, I need to win you over. I need to win you to my side. I'm going to go back to my book now, but I wanted to sit down and give you an update. I'm very excited for like where things are going because Talia always takes things in very fun places. And I'm excited to see how this one works out. Hi, I just wanted to check in and let y'all know we've gotten to what I think is the 3rd act breakup at this point in the book. And it's like maybe one of the least offensive 3rd act breakups I've ever read. And by least offensive, I mean like it makes the most sense. And I'm saying that having read Chloe Brown, I'm thinking that one was actually a pretty decent one because it was like the way it was handled. Like both of them involve someone reacting because of their trauma and blah, 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 blah. Things I can't get into because it's spoilers. But this one, like the breakup has happened. And I can already see, like, the other side, if that makes sense. Although they're not there yet. Sometimes it's like, ooh, how are they going to make this better? How is this going to work? And I can, like, I'm like, oh, this is just a case of one of them needing to be a little bit more understanding and get the full picture so they know what happened in that moment. Yeah, I think I like it. I'm having a good time.
Well, hello, my friends. I am here to report that The Princess Trap was a good time. I'm not a big fan, in this series at least, of her epilogues. I will say that. Like, the epilogues tend to bring the book down a little bit for me because they tend to be just over the top. And, like, I love it. Like, don't get me wrong. I love a good epilogue. But at least in this series, they just, like, they always involve something that makes me go, why? This was a fantastic time. Now, this is not Brown Sisters level of good for me, but like very close. Very close. I had such a fun time, like especially like their little relationship dynamic and how everything worked and the way that we went through this whole thing and the way that they ended up working together, especially towards the end. I loved that. I had a very good time with that. I liked how we ended up solving certain things. Like, it was the obvious answer. The way we came about it, like, for me, figuring out that something is going to happen doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the book, because the most important thing for me is how do we get that thing to happen. And I liked how we kind of, it's a little over the top, but I kind of liked how we got that thing to happen. Also, I think that, like, here's the thing. I am a sucker. Don't get me wrong, we need more books where people decide to remain, like, start out at the beginning not wanting kids and decide to remain child-free, but I kind of like how we worked through that in this book. Like, if your reason for not having kids is tied to trauma, in my opinion, that means you need to deal with the trauma and then reevaluate whether or not you want kids. There are a lot of, like, I'm watching Bones right now. I love the Hunger Games is back there behind me, and like those are all very good examples of books where like the reason they don't want kids is tied to their trauma and not necessarily to them not wanting kids. And so you have to work through that, and once you remove the or deal with the trauma, they may change their mind. I know that's going to be something people are going to try and hit this with, and I think there's a very different thing between a character and usually a woman not wanting kids because she genuinely does not want kids, and not wanting kids because there is something about them inherently about having kids that makes her feel vulnerable in a way that she doesn't feel like she could handle. We don't get to see as much of that worked through in Hunger Games, but like I liked the way that this handled that conversation. I also acknowledge that we need more romance books where like the happy ending is not these two are married with children. Like, I get that too. I get that criticism, but I don't think that applies here. We are losing the light, so I am going to go. I've got to return these to the library so I can pick up more books, and also so that I can, like, they don't shut down my account, because my library does that now. Instead of charging you fines when your books are late, they just shut your account down if they get past a certain point. Honestly, better system in my opinion, especially because I know those fines don't go directly to the library. To answer the question, can I still read a book in a day, since that's been a struggle lately, audiobook versus physical book, doesn't matter the format, I still got it. I still got the magic. I can still do it. If you would like to see me try to read another book in a day, I have my most recent video for the most recent Percy Jackson video, Percy Jackson book. I tried to read it in a day. You can see if I did it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the vibes, go ahead, hit that subscribe. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!